All right, guys, looking at this announcement, TRYHACKME is giving away prizes from September 7th all the way up to, I believe, like the 21st. Yes, September 21st. And all you need to do is do some of these red team path rooms to include the red team fundamentals, which we will do. And you can win any of these prizes, TRYHACKME shirt, some swag, OSAP voucher, which I'm definitely not ready for, but I will take it, and a rubber ducky. So that looks great. I definitely want to earn that. And all we need to do is complete some of those rooms. So let's get a hunting. And I think all we need to do is just click down here. Bam. Launch red team pathway. Right. See what we got here. Station. We're going to start off with the first one, which is going to be the intro. So enroll in path. I'm enrolled. Red team fundamentals. Sweet. And we'll do this intro. So I'll just read over it, give a brief overview of it, and we'll move on to the next one. So they just go into an intro, basically stating that the red hat hackers or the black hats and the white hats are constantly at a race, trying to outsmart each other, trying to out hack each other and such. So some prerequisites that they mention is you have to do the junior pen tester, which I've done. And if you're struggling with that, you can watch some of my junior pen tester videos as well. All right, let's click on to the next task. All right, guys, so they pretty much say, they go over vulnerability assessments and the type of vulnerability assessments you can have. One to include understand your security posture by identifying the vulnerabilities within your network, and then also the penetration test conducted to actually try and exploit those vulnerabilities and gain access to the network, possibly pivoting from, let's say, this vulnerable web server to Alice's PC here. And then they go over persistent threats and how in most cases, due to time constraint budgets, limited scope, non-disruption, heavy IT focus, they're unable to remediate some of these vulnerabilities, leaving them vulnerable and having high risk to advanced persistent threats and being compromised. So they also go over the fact that when they conduct a pen test, it can be pretty loud. Pen testers aren't worried about being caught. They're not going to go to jail or nothing like that. They typically have a contract, so they're not worried about being detected. So when we're looking at this from a vulnerability assessment, prepare us to detect a real-world attacker on our network. Nay, it does not. During the penetration test, are you concerned about being detected by the clients? Nay, you're not, because like I said, there's a contract there. You're not afraid of that. And highly organized groups of skilled attackers are nowadays referred to as advanced persistent threats. All right, let's move on to task 3, red team engagement. All right, so red team engagement, basically the term red team came from the military. Also, they use OP4 as the opposition force, but we'll just say, hey, red team, their objective is to get the crown jewels or flags, really to just get into the network and get access to some files. And the way they do so is typically by trying to evade being detected by firewalls, router logs, and web logs, web server logs. They may be able to circumvent that by, sending a phishing email to Bob, and then Bob opens it, and then that gives them access to the PC and then the internet. and just goes over some of the ways that they could do it: social engineering, physical intrusion, technical infrastructure. And so what's their objective? Crown jewels and flags. And what do they emulate? Tactics, techniques, procedures that the Op4 or red team would use. The main objective of red team engagement is to detect as many vulnerabilities as possible. Not exactly. That's kind of what your vulnerability assessment would typically try to do, but in the terms of red team engagement, if I'm trying to get in, I'm trying to see if the doors are open. Think about them trying to intrude your house, right? You're just trying to see if the doors are open. If they're open, hey, I'm getting in this way, right? And just probing around, really. All right, so task 4, team and functions of engagement. Okay, so here we learn about red cell, blue cell, and white cell. So red cells, the offensive team, blue cells, the defenders, and white cells, the referees, basically, who ensure everyone's following the rules of engagement. All right, so what cell is responsible for offensive operations? We know that's the red cell, aka red team. What cell is the trusted agent considered a part of? And we know that's the white cell, which are like the referees. Okay, let's move on to task 5. Engagement structure. Okay, so you have the Lockheed Martin kill chain, which is recon, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, actions, and objectives. So it says recon is like finding information about the target. Weaponization is preparing that exploit for that specific target. If it's a Windows server, we want to make sure that that payload is specific for Windows Server and will be effective. Then the delivery of that either by email or USB, and then the exploitation, exploit the target to execute the code. Afterwards, you want to install some malware and other tools, and the command and control, which can be done through Empire or Colbit Strike, which I've been looking into, is very popular. Actions on objectives. Any end objective ransomware data exfiltration. If you're an APT, think you probably want to do some data exfiltration over a few years. So you want to stay in the system, of course. If an adversary deployed Mimikatz on a target machine, where would they be placed on the Lockheed Martin cyber kill chain? Installation. What technique purpose is to exploit the target system to execute code? Exploitation. So installation, exploitation. All right, 6. All the things we have discussed can come together when performing red team engagement to better understand how the components and stakeholders interact. We will analyze a simplified engagement example, navigate to the green view button, click continue. Notice how the cyber kill chain naturally aligns with the exercises. We start with recon phase, where we gather as much intel as we can about the target, follow weaponization delivery by sending a phishing email with a malicious attachment, continue to exploitation installation phase when using the local exploit privileges on Bob's PC, and then installing tools on the compromised host to dump password hashes and perform lateral movement to finish with actions on the objective where a connection to our target is finally made. All right, let's see it. Red team engagement. Red team and white team define the goals of the exercise. Access the transactional DB of the bank database. No, DB. No, transactional database. Okay. White and red team will define goals that align with business risk scenarios. Blue team is usually not informed at this stage of the exercise, as we want to analyze their natural response against attackers. Red team gathers intel on the bank and plans a strategy based on TTPs listed by APTs targeting similar financial institutions. The red team gathers as much information as they can about the bank, including technologies in use, list of employees, information on social media, photos, any other usable information. Threat intelligence sources are also used to check for APTs, targeting similar companies to get a better grasp of the TTPs and tools they use. As an example, you can check card banks information. With all of the information at hand, the red team will create a plan that introduces several TTPs that fit the target and will get approval by the white team. Okay. Emulate TTP phishing campaign. However, some users have already opened the malicious attachment. The red team gains access to Bob's PC with Bob's privileges. The red team starts the engagement by emulating a phishing campaign against a list of emails they made based on employees, names found on LinkedIn, and detect a pattern in the email address, such as Julian Smith, bankexample.com, John Watson, blankexample.com. The phishing campaign was detected. The blue team sent an email to an employee to warn them of the ongoing threat. This still allows the attacker to carry on, as there was no process to checks in place for the possible affected computer, or even delete any copies of malicious email from all users' inboxes, right? You'd think they'd probably maybe put a filter somewhere on their web server to prevent the emails coming in from outside sources or being flagged for outside sources, or maybe just saying, hey, don't, if you get emails from these two, just don't open them, right? All right. Embedded page is, can't view this page yet. What did I do? Okay. Am I supposed to click something? I'm so confused. Saying I can't move on. All right, give me one sec. All right, I just had to scroll down. The phishing campaign was detected. Blue team sent emails to warn them. All right, great. So they sent phishing email. All employees, please avoid opening the email subject. Account suspended as part of ongoing phishing scam. Remember that we will never ask you for your credentials via email. Red team found missing Windows patches on Bob's PC. One of them allowed for the print nightwear exploitation, while the available public exploit was detected by many AV solutions. Many AV evasion techniques were successfully applied to avoid triggering any alarms obtaining system privileges. The red team was able to upload and run a modified Mimikatz to extract local passwords, hashing, including the local admin account backup. Okay. So they dumped the SAM, got passwords. Nice. All right. Emulating TTP lateral movement. A direct connection from Bob's PC to the database was blocked by the firewall. Using pass the hash, it was possible to connect to the DBA PC using backup users password hash. Using credentials found on the text file on DBA's PC's desktop is possible to access DBA. Database, okay. Using the backup account, red team. Use a passive hash attack against all hosts on the network. Check if the backup user can log into other hosts. No direct connection could be made to the DB server, as firewall policies were in place to prevent it. After doing some additional recon, a workstation called DBA PC was identified. Using patch to hash, DBA PC was compromised and used the pivot to connect to the DB server. While the patch to hash attempts triggered many alerts on logon attempts from users backup, the blue team ignored them as they were confused with the batch backup process, which runs monthly. Oh. In the end, the red, white, and blue teams will check together how security controls can be improved in order to be ready for a real threat. After finishing with this exercise, red, white, and blue team will meet and discuss how to improve the security of the bank. Although we are focused on specific TTPs that allow the red team to reach its objectives in real-life engagement, you will usually have failed attempts as well. It is important to note that those failed attempts can still provide valid information for the exercise. Suppose, for example, that you ran some brute force attack against the DB server and you never got any valid credentials from it, it might still be interesting to check if the blue team detected the attack at the end of the engagement. Also remember that many things might take unexpected turns during the engagement. Maintaining clear communication between the red and white team is vital to make decisions that will direct the exercise in the right direction and avoid conflict at the end of the road. Yeah, you wouldn't want to access a machine with like, you know, personal identifiable information or personal health information, that'd be pretty bad. So you probably want to communicate with them. Oh, hey, look, gave us the little flag here. Sweet. Conclusion. A simplified overview of the red team engagement has been provided in this room. The main concept, components, and stakeholders have been introduced to gain a first understanding of such exercises in this room. That follows, you will learn of the planning behind a real engagement, as well as a lot of cool techniques a real attacker would use along the way, including how to use threat intelligence to your advantage, evade security mechanisms presented in Honor Host, perform lateral movement, and try to avoid detection at all cost. Sweet. Whoa, hey, we got something. Congratulations, you have completed the room. Share this with your friends. Redeem your tickets. Complete rooms and redeem tickets. Collect 3 of the same tickets and win a prize. Click to reveal. Okay, hold on, let me pause this and see what happens. Guys, I won 7-day streak freeze and $5 of swag. Yes, yes, I did it. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and I hope to create more videos. I'll probably make one tomorrow on whatever the second challenge is because I need more swag, man. All right, hope you guys have a good evening, good day, good morning, wherever you are. Till next time.